For lesson 81, we're going to talk about arithmetic with units of measure. So recall that the operations of arithmetic or math are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. In this lesson, we're going to practice adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing units of measure. We may add or subtract measurements that have the same units. If the units are not the same, we first convert one or more measurements so that the units are the same. Then we can add or subtract. So if I want to add 2 feet plus 12 inches, I have to get the units so that they are the same. So now I can either go to feet or I can go to inches. So first we're going to start with feet. So I have 2 feet plus 12 inches into feet. It's going to be 1 foot. Okay, so I'm going to get 3 feet. If we go to inches, I have 2 feet and there's 12 inches in a foot, so that's going to be 24 inches plus 12 inches. We get 36 inches. So for adding and subtracting, as long as we get the units the same, we can add them and it makes it very easy for us. So notice that the answer, 36 inches, in example 1, is the same unit as in the equation, 24 inches plus 12 inches. And if we have the sum of 3 feet, it's the same unit as 2 feet plus 1 foot. The units do not change when we add or subtract measurements. However, if we multiply or divide, they are going to change. So when we find the area of a figure, we multiply the lengths. Okay? The length times width. Notice how the units change when we multiply. So we go from like units to units squared. So to find the area of this rectangle, we multiply 2 centimeters by 3 centimeters. The product has a different unit of measure than the factors. Okay? So we have 2 centimeters times 3 centimeters, we're going to get 6 square centimeters, or centimeters squared. A centimeter and a square centimeter are 2 different kinds of units. A centimeter is used to measure length and can be represented by a segment. A square centimeter is used to measure area and it can be represented by a square that is 1 centimeter on each side. So there is a difference between those units. The unit of the product is a different unit because we multiply the units of the factors. When we multiply 2 centimeters by 3 centimeters, we multiply both the numbers and the units. So we have 2 centimeters times 3 centimeters. We have 2 times 3, which is 6. And centimeters times centimeters, which is square centimeters. And also, we can write centimeters squared. So we have 2 times 3 here. Centimeters times centimeters is centimeters squared with the 2. Okay? So if we multiply 6 feet times 4 feet, well, we have 6 times 4 is 24. And feet times feet is going to be feet squared, or square feet. So there my answer is 24 feet squared. Units also change when we divide measurements. For example, if we know both the area and the length of a rectangle, we can find the width of the rectangle by dividing. So if I know the area is 21 centimeters squared, and the length is 7 centimeters, I need to know what the width is. So to find the width of the rectangle, we can divide 21 centimeters squared by 7 centimeters. So we have centimeters here. So we can do some canceling before we multiply. So reducing before we multiply. Okay. So 7 goes into 7 once, 7 goes into 21 3 times. Notice I have 2 centimeters on top because that 2 tells us it's centimeters times centimeters. Okay, and 1 on bottom. In the same way I can cancel here, I can cancel here. So I cancel 1 centimeter on top, 1 on bottom. All that's left is centimeters on top. So therefore, we're going to get 3 centimeters. Okay, so the width is going to be 3 centimeters. If I write that here, mentally check, 7 times 3 is 21 centimeters squared. So divide 25 miles squared, divide by 5 miles. So I have 25 miles squared, I'm going to write miles twice. Okay. Add some multiplication signs in here. Then on bottom I have 5, and I just have 1 mile. Okay? So let's start with the numbers. Okay. I know that 5 goes into 25 5 times, and 5 goes into 5 1 time. So all I have left for my numbers is that 5 on top. Now I have miles on top, miles on bottom. I can cancel 1 from each side, and I still have 1 mile left. So I can keep it up there. Okay? So the answer is 5 miles. So do the numbers, then do the units. Sometimes when we divide measurements, the units will not reduce. When units will not reduce, we leave the units in fraction form. For example, if a car travels 300 miles in 6 hours, we can find the average speed of the car by dividing. So you have 300 miles divided by 6 hours. So we reduce the numbers to get 50 over 1. Now miles and hours, we can't reduce it all because they're two completely different units. One's distance, one's time. So we're going to just leave them. So our quotient is 50 miles over hour, which is 50 miles per hour. So when we have units, one over the other, we can say it's top one per the bottom one. And notice that we can abbreviate miles per hour with mph. And so speed is a quotient of distance divided by time. Let's try an example here. We have 300 miles divided by 10 gallons. So 300 miles divided by 10 gallons. Okay? So let's look at our numbers. I know 10 goes into 300 30 times. Okay? 10 goes into 10 one time. Now I have miles and gallons as my unit. Notice that all I have here is 30 for my number. Now miles and gallons, two different units. Okay, miles is distance, gallons is amount, right? So I'm just going to leave them as miles over a gallon. Okay, another way to say this is 30 miles per gallon, like that, or I could do 30 mpg. Okay. Either way, we're still getting 30 miles per gallon. Okay. Go ahead, try those 4 problems. Make sure you bring any questions you may have to class.